And I think maybe you will also help us here. This parliament and this house has always gone out of its way to support our farmers, providing subsidy programs. It has provided subsidy when it comes to tractors, provided subsidy when it comes to seedlings and fertilizer. So this time around, because of the fact that there is no maize in the world today, in fact, you Google, white maize cannot be found. It is inelastic commodity. It's a commodity that can only be found at one period, and it disappears because it's only destined to Africa. White maize. The rest of the world is consuming GMO maize and yellow maize. So what's happening is that because of this, the prices have skyrocketed, spiked. It is now, all of us know, it's about 5,000 shillings per bag. And what we are saying is that we're trying to negotiate to see how we can mop up all maize, wherever it is, so that we can actually make this subsidy program for our Kenyan people, consumers, to get maize meal at 90 shillings per 2 kilogram packet.
Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, there's a terminology I want to follow up from the PS. They are using a terminology here called mobbing. Mopping the maize from the traders, from the farmers. One thing that I want to come clear, if you're using this terminology to buy maize from where they are holding it, are we considering our farmers? Because, as you have said, even you still have about 15,000 bags, 15 bags in your household, and you know there are some other farmers who are still maybe having the same. How come that now in your planning, you want to subsidize the traders first? And you are thinking you want to subsidize the traders like now, these millers who have imported, you are buying from them at a cost of 4,300. And yet our farmers that you have confessed are still having maize in their house, including you. You cannot pay them 4,300, and you want to still pay them 2,500. Now, can you be able to tell me this definition of what? Mobbing. Are you mobbing only from the traders who are rich? And if these traders were also holding their stocks, as per the last time the CS came, which means they still have 5.5 million bags. And again, you gave them the free hand to import free of charge, which means now they should have more than what we need. How come that Wanjiku cannot get affordable price of unga? It's still from 100 to 180 to 90. What game are you really playing with our farmers and these traders? And who are these traders? Who are these millers who are milking money from the taxpayers instead of our farmers benefiting? We need these people, people like Stan Waves. We want these names because we know them. A whole band. We just want these people you have subsidized them at 4,300. And my farmer.
Sorry.
But I want him just to understand, Chair, this terminology.
Yes.
If it is a matter of, mopping, why don't we start mopping in Rift Valley, pay them 4,300?
That's a good question.
I don't know if you get me.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Thank you, Chair.
Don't dilute it. I think, in essence, maybe 1 bag, 2 bags are not for commercial purposes, but they are not there to be mopped out of the market. But nevertheless, yes.
Okay.
I think whatever you have mentioned, it was these pricings. If you have raised the price, which I really am not sure, to 4,300. Or could there be any other maize that is left, is still being held, the way you are assuming or the way you have really said? What is the amount of maize that is being held? Is it for commercial purpose, or it is 1 bag, 2 bags, 5 bags that you have paid for, by the farmers for their own consumption? So please be specific about it, so that at least you don't confuse that. At least there is still maize, and you are importing maize, and at a different price and subsidizing. So I know you are between 2 catches, because one time you have to protect the farmers. On the other hand, you have to feed the consumers. So just please come out clear about it.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Uta. Okay, on the issue of mopping or on the issue of acquisition, whatever probably the terminology is, what I wanted to say is first is that as a government and as a state, we have moral obligation and a national obligation to feed our Kenyans. And I want to say that it has to happen within the confines of law. But one thing that is overriding, we cannot allow prices to skyrocket. We cannot allow Kenyans not to have food on their table because of probably failure, whatever the reasons, either it's natural disaster, which is rain, or whatever reasons, whether it's failure to plan, we have really to undertake this. But I want to say this, on the issue of the maize that's being held by our households. Basically, some of it, in some instances probably sold, but actually it's very, very domestic. But the point remains that they hold it for their own domestic consumption. And that's why probably when we hear the cry, and probably even if we do a proper assessment and even survey, you can actually tell where is the noise coming from about this shifted maize. But otherwise, in that village of mine, yes, I want to emphasize, and I think even where our Honorable Uta comes from, people still carry 1 tin, 2 tins, to Korokoro, to Agerekereko, grind the maize, and come and make their ugali. But all the same, the point here is that he has mentioned that we had specific people in mind or specific companies. Honorable Chair, our consumption per month of maize is 3 million bags. 3 million bags per month. And this is something that has been done, empirical evidence and proper estimates. So even if we talk about 5.5 million in January, 3 million per month means that it's actually 1.5 months or 2 months down the road. So what I want to confirm here, and Honorable Chair, I think we need to be trusted, as government officers and honorable people. There is no way you can come and cheat Kenyans and cheat Parliament like this. There is no maize that is remaining in this country that's going to take us up to the end of May. No miller, except a few ones. A few who are holding probably maybe 10. In fact, one thing I can even be specific. The only maize that was in the hands of the miller, small and big, as at last week, was 110 bags. 110,000 bags. And this can be verified by KRA, Kenya Revenue Authority. They have got the mechanism, the framework to actually ascertain this. Therefore, I want to confirm that the maize, which one thing is that, as the Gazette notice says, we did not give this to specific millers, to specific companies. What we said was that initially we thought people will import and the prices will come down. It has not come down. Whatever we have done now, in fact, with the maize we are buying, we have already established an interministerial negotiating team using the government laid down procurement procedures to actually get maize, negotiate with the traders, and even Kenyans, if Kenyans have the maize today. In fact, as we speak now, yesterday we locked in a price per bag from the maize that has actually arrived in this country. And we are buying a bag at 3,600 Kenya shillings. And we are ready to have any maize from any Kenyan, from anywhere, at 3,600, and we are buying it at that price. It's even subsidized. The prices you are seeing in Nairobi, in Dar es Salaam, is not less than 4,200. But we are saying the maize we are buying, and I want to Honorable Uta to take it from me, it is 3,600. This is 3,600 per 90 kilogram bag. And that is the maize we are subsidizing. And the subsidy is actually 1,300 per bag. And therefore, what I want to say here is, we are ready for scrutiny. The procurement is there, the interministerial teams are there, they are actually working on it. KRA is there. Therefore, I think this impression created that we are buying maize at 4,600. In fact, even some instances, 5,000 per bag is unacceptable. It is wrong. It's misplaced, and actually we should not be actually condemned because it's actually it's not true. We are buying at 3,600 as we speak now, and we intend going forward, given the situation, as we continue getting more maize, wherever we're going to get it, we are going to negotiate. If the prices will come down, well and good. If they'll go up, we shall see how we're going to handle this. But one thing I want to reiterate, Honorable Chair, as a government, we are not going to allow Kenyans to buy maize meal at 150 shillings. We have decided they'll have to buy it at 90 shillings, a subsidized price. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Oshali.
Thank you, Chair, and my apologies for coming in late. Chair, also pardon me for sitting very close to the ministry. I am still part
Honorable Oshali, Minister of the Day, I didn't get the speech.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I am among the members of this committee who are very passionate on these food stocks. Chair, and I also want to just remind you that food security has nothing to do with the political parties. It's something that we need to address as a country. Chair, when we raised this issue, both in December and February, our Cabinet Secretary said that he has a scientific way of finding out the stocks, both in our stores and also with farmers. I've also been around long enough to know, Chair, that we had a policy in this country, a policy that said that immediately stocks, especially the SFR, fall below 8 million, then an alarm is raised. Because 8 million bags should be able to last this country approximately 2 months and 2 months and a half. Now, Chairman, what is happening is that the alarm is being raised when we don't have anything in the stores. My question, which I want to put squarely on the Cabinet Secretary, because the issue of policy is domesticated in his ministry. What happened? Why did we have to fall below 8 million bags in our stores for him to raise an alarm? Because if that was raised early enough, then the issue, this emergency will not be as intense as it is today. Therefore, Chair, I just wanted to find out the policy in the ministry in as far as food security is concerned.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Shali. Bwana CS, for us to make progress, let's not go into a lot of storytelling. Let's respond to some of these questions. And also, I want to beg members that you ask direct questions. As you answer Mheshimiwa Shali's question, I want you to tie it with the question I asked. How many bags are we holding right now? That question has not been properly answered. How many are we still holding now? Because as per January or December, you told this committee that we had enough food up to and including 31st of May 2017. But what is now going to the shelves, you have to come clear on that, is what has been imported the other day, including what was milled yesterday for 90 shillings, and then also the issue of the price. Members, let's be very brief in these questions, asking. There is also Mheshimiwa Florence question. What was it about? Can you repeat your question so that it is answered? The interventions have been...
The issue of the droughts. They had been warned about the droughts by the weathermen over a long time of period. The only intervention... Yeah,
maybe another one is the issue of gazettement. You have said you have gazetted for anyone to import. Surely. I thought it was, we are a country that is guided by policy, a country that has its own legal mechanisms in place. How do you just advertise and open what we call floodgates? Suppose we have 100 million bags in this country. Where will it be stored?
Thank you very much, Chairman. Our policy requires that we have 4 million bags in stock and 4 million worth in cash. That is how the 8 million comes about. Let me throw you back, Chairman. We had 4 million bags in our grain SFR. But what had happened, this is grain which had been carried over for a very long time. And last year, we undertook a cleaning mechanism and even approved that some of the grain had actually deteriorated in quality to the extent that we had to sell it for animal feed. So in that process of cleaning up, that is how the stocks came down to what we communicated to this committee in the meeting of February. The holdings now, Chairman, is 980,000. We have not milled any imported consignment. What we are milling and what you are seeing in the shops now is what we are holding in the country, which is 980,000 bags, of which we have started subsidizing, and this is what you're getting at 90 shillings in the shelves. Now,
Hold on there, so that the members do not ask you this question.
Yes.
Are you saying what you are milling is what was
in Esavar.
SFR?
Yes.
Therefore, what you have actually subsidized, because the millers are the ones doing it, is what was already here, not what has been imported.
As we are going to subsidize.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you answer that?
As
Yes
we
or
speak
no?
now, yes.
Thank you.
As we speak now, yes. So maybe I can continue to answer. The cassettman. The cassettman is when we waived duty. We didn't waive duty for so and so. We waived duty for anybody who would import maize to this country. And that is why we didn't want to go into the process of tendering and deciding who should import and who should not import. So because we required a specific amount of grain, 5 million. So it followed then, by the time we achieve our 5 million, our subsidy program or the duty waiver is stopped. And we are monitoring very closely with KRA to ensure that what comes to this country under duty waiver and also under this subsidy program should not exceed 5 million bags, because we have calculated and realized that is the cap which is existing in the country for things to normalize. We will still monitor the situation because weatherman is still giving
Point
us
of order,
information.
Chairman. Point of order, Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman, it's good for the CS to put it straight. In the Kenya Gazette, did it specifically say anybody?
I think we can circulate.
Yeah, we can. And how many bags in the Kenya Gazette?
We can circulate, but we didn't put the number of bags in the Kenya Gazette. What is happening is we have our mechanism through KRA to know how many are we going. In fact,
our concern is, Chairman, our concern is if you give...
Because every intervention we are doing is
Point
based
of order,
on the 5
Bwana
million.
CS. Bwana CS, I think what the member is asking is the issue of how many bags did you tender for? Right.
It's on the same, Mr. Chairman. You know, the moment you put an open-ended gazette, Panasias, there's a likelihood of abuse. Unless you withdraw this gazette and you be specific.